everything, and I do mean everything, is negotiable. The start date, the salary, the technology, your paid time off, vacation, it's all negotiable. I'm going to talk to you about how to negotiate different areas of an offer to get everything you want in your next role. I'm Ashley, the lead mentor with Mentor Me, and I'm so excited to talk about negotiation. I just did a training and coached one of my mentees on negotiating, and it made me realize that I haven't talked about negotiations. And I love talking about negotiating because I think that there's so much fear and shame and questions and anxieties around negotiating, and it often makes people feel disempowered and unsure in their career development journey. And so I want to talk about some of the things that you can negotiate and how to ask for them so that the next time you receive a job offer, you can negotiate in power and in a way that makes you feel grounded. And, when it comes to negotiating, I think that there's just so many fears and so many anxieties around negotiating. I think one of the most common fears and common anxieties is like, what if they think, I'm being bossy? What if I'm asking for too much? What if they, rescind the offer? And, I think that those fears are normal and valid and real, right? Like, I think that, while, it's very unlikely that any of those things can happen, I know that, our livelihoods are built on securing a job. And so the idea that negotiating would put that in jeopardy is real, right? Like, that fear is very real. But the truth is that any employer worth its snuff expects you to negotiate. They expect to give you an offer and for you to counter offer. They expect to engage with you around the offer. They expect to talk to you about what they're offering and you to share what you want and to have a conversation about the terms of agreement of the role. And so I understand and I honor the fear and anxiety that negotiation brings up for people, and I still want to encourage you to practice this very important skill and to practice it with an employer, right? Not just in the mirror, not just on a blank sheet of paper, but to really practice negotiating and making sure that you can talk about why you're interested in this role, what you want out of this role, to really build a comprehensive package for the next stage in your career. And so I'll just share, that often when it comes to negotiations, most people think about salary. Like, Ashley, how do I negotiate salary? How do I negotiate salary? And I get that. We definitely want to negotiate the salary of any role that we're offered because, again, everything is negotiable. But it should not be the only thing that you negotiate. Certainly that's a part of it. It's definitely, a big part of why we work is the amount of money we're going to earn. But salary shouldn't be the only thing that you should negotiate. And some of the most common things that my mentees will negotiate, they will negotiate start date, they will negotiate paid time off, they might negotiate technology. I've had mentees negotiate, having an admin. Like, I noticed this role doesn't have an administrative assistant. I request an administrative assistant in the first, 90 days or in the first 6 months of the role. You can negotiate professional development. And in fact, on average, I recommend that my mentees ask for, professional development, that you ask for some funding to support your growth and development in a role. And typically I recommend that you ask for at least 5% of your annual salary set aside for you to grow and develop professionally. And so, asking for that professional development is key. And, I think that sometimes we get so focused on the salary, but, you want to really be thinking about total compensation Can you include parking in the negotiation? Can you include a sign-on bonus? Can you include transitional housing? There are many things that you can negotiate. And in fact, everything, again, the theme, everything is negotiable. So you really do want to make sure that you are asking for all the things that you could possibly want in this role so that you can really get the most out of it. So, I think that in my mentorship programs, I have a script. So I give all of my mentees a script that really outlines for them exactly how to negotiate, what to say, what to include. And it even talks through, how to ask for specific things, right? So for example, let's say when you start the role, it's really important for you to have assistive technology. You have a learning disability, or you have an audio or visual disability, and you want to be able to negotiate having assistive technology as a part of your role, and you don't want to have to ask for it as an accommodation after the fact. You want to ask for it up front, right? So you might say, I understand as a condition of my employment, I will receive a company issue blank. My work is best produced on blank technology for the following reasons. I'd like to request a transition to a comparable blank, right? So for example, you might say, I understand that as a standard working condition, I would receive a company issued laptop and cell phone. My work is best produced on a larger, 26-inch screen because of a visual disability that I have. Therefore, I'd like to request a larger screen or dual screens to produce my work. Because of my audio or because of my visual impairment, right? So you can include those kinds of asks in your negotiation. You can include those in the offer. I think that sometimes you can negotiate a start date, right? So maybe they want you to start in 2 months or next month at the new billing cycle or new hiring cycle. You can always request that, starting on blank date would allow me to effectively transition from my previous role to and support a successful start in this role. So you can request that you start on a specific date, or that you start at the end of the month, or you start mid-month, or, whatever that specific date is for you. So you can certainly request starting at a specific time and on a specific date if that's something that's important to you. So again, you can negotiate start date, materials, benefits, paid time off, a sign-on bonus, and of course the big one, you can negotiate salary. So I typically recommend, I shouldn't say recommend necessarily, because you can ask, you can counter offer whatever you'd like. I will say where my mentees typically see the most success is when they counter somewhere between 8 and 15% on the base offer. So, you take the base salary, you multiply it by 0.08, and that's the salary that you can ask for. So typically my mentees see the most success when they negotiate 8 to 15% on the base offer. And in my stories, I will share some mentees who recently negotiated offers, and I'll talk about in those videos, in those live videos with me, they talk about how they negotiated and what employers said yes to you too. So you can see some specific examples. But typically where my mentees see the most success when they negotiate is when they negotiate 8 to 15% on the base offer. So for example, if you get offered a job and they offer you $100,000, where my mentees see the most success is when they ask for 108 to 115 on that, for the total offer, right? Of course, I've had mentees ask for more than that and see success. I've had mentees ask for 8% and only get 5%, right? So, but where mentees see the most success is asking somewhere between 8 and 15%. And here's the line. Here's what you want to say when you are asking for an increase on an offer. You want to say, given my extensive expertise with X, Y, and Z, I will bring a wealth of knowledge to FedEx, right? So a salary of $115,000 best reflects the value that I bring to this packaging associate role, right? So whatever the role is. So you want to specifically speak to the fact that you have expertise in the core things that they are asking you to do. You will bring a wealth of knowledge to the organization. A salary of blank best reflects the value that you would bring to the organization. And it's important when you're asking for a salary increase in a negotiation that you don't use a range. You want to use a very specific amount. So avoid, asking for, something between 108 and 110. Just ask for the number. And avoid using like 180K or 124K. Just put, dollar sign and then write out the number. So you really do want to be very specific with that. And the last thing I'll say about this is that I just want to honor the fear and anxiety that comes from negotiating. I think, for those of you who identify as women, for those of you who are Christian, for those of you who grew up with the morality that, just take whatever you can get, don't put your head down, do the work, don't ask anybody for anything, asking for things is immoral or shows that you're ungrateful, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. For those of you who grew up like that and someone told you that just simply asking for something makes you a horrible person, I just want to honor that lived experience, and I want to honor that you may feel like that, and I also want to honor that that's a lie from the pits of hell. It is not immoral. It is not greedy. It is not ungrateful to negotiate a salary offer, right? It is not immoral. It is not disrespectful. This is work. This is a job. This is not family. You're not asking to borrow money, right? Like, you're going to work there. You're going to provide a high level of value. They're going to pay you to do a job, right? So often when it comes to these kinds of things, I think that there's this morality issue that we deal with when we're negotiating. And I really just want to invite you to interrogate that. And I want to ask you, who is served by you playing small? Who is served by you not asking for what you want and what you deserve? Who is served by you just taking whatever they give you? Who is served by that? And if the answer to that question is no one, then that means that you should negotiate. And let me just give you a little secret. The answer to the question is no one. No one is served when you don't ask for what you want, when you shrink, when you hide, when you don't advocate for yourself. And if you can't advocate for yourself before you get the job, what's going to happen when somebody says something sideways to you when you have the job, when your boss mistreats you, when your programs constantly get rejected? Are you still going to put your head down and be quiet? Are you going to be looking for another job for which you won't negotiate, right? Like, let's start this habit now. And as you need more support with negotiating, let me mentor you. I'm accepting new mentees. I'm excited to work with you to help you make more money and have more impact in your career. If you know you would benefit from executive level mentorship and coaching in your career, if you're tired of trying to DIY it and do it yourself, and you really want some help, I am excited to serve you in mentorship. I'm excited to help you make more money and have more impact and really advance your career. You are too smart. You are too capable. You have too much knowledge and skills to still be being overworked and underpaid. And I want to invite you into earning more money and making more impact in your career. You can go right to my website to schedule a call at mentor-me.org. And again, remember that everything is negotiable. Thanks for watching. Bye.